What is up? What is up? This is the War Dog. Welcome to Comic Book Theater with my co-host JR. What's going on, JR?
What's up, War Dog?
Not much. We have a really awesome guest today. We have Cara Nicole. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let her do the talking because she's a great talker. So, Cara, tell us a little bit about yourself and your Kickstarter.
So I am known for my cosplay as AZ Power Girl, and I do tons and tons of costumes, and I travel all over the place. And I was with you guys not too long ago for my calendar Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. And so now I have finally launched the comic book that I co-wrote and co-created, and I'm also coloring as well as writing and all of that. And this is a project that we started on years ago, and it is a superhero called Firebitch.
That's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Now, and the other thing that I will remember is Cara was the third person ever interviewed for the podcast too, in Branson Comic-Con. It was a great time. We all had a good time down there. And but anyway, I digress from that. Let's get back to the Kickstarter. Tell us what's your inspiration for the main character here.
Okay, so this is just one of the covers we have, and this is basically, you can see she's got fire powers, and she's blonde, she's got this tattoo. So the idea that this started out with just Alfred doodling at the bank on an envelope. That's how long ago this was. And he posted her on Facebook, and Mike DeBalfo actually called her Firebitch. We were like, yes, we were like, give this girl a name. And it kind of stuck, and we've just been slowly working on it. And then over the past year, we really, really just wanted to finally get this out, because we had multiple scripts. We had it set up to be a longer book, and then it actually, like a longer, a one-shot, but then it kind of expanded a little bit more. And it's like, we're going to need like 3 to 4 issues. So we just fleshed her out and really worked on her. And one of the things that I wanted her to embody is like the millennial woman. She's an Instagram model. I got a lot of ideas from cosplayers, and a lot of her behaviors are bad, and they come from complaints about cosplayers. So she is just selfish and really very self-absorbed, entitled. She's kind of a brat, and she accidentally gets sucked in through this wormhole and dumped off on an alien planet. Now, this is not the full colored interiors, but we have the flats done. So you've got these aliens, and she's kind of this like little insta-ho, and she ends up going through this wormhole, and she gets the ability to fly, she gets some super strength, and she gets firepower. So what is a girl gonna do, when she's one of these types of people with firepower? She's gonna make emojis and stuff. So yeah, she a lot of hashtags. And go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're cool. That sounds about right. I like that. It feels like she as a person isn't where she's going to be whenever she reaches hero status at the beginning.
Right. You can even see. So this is our Steph Wilson cover, and see, she's like in her bedroom, and these little stuffed animals here are the aliens from the book. So you've got the Rogers here, the little green-headed aliens, and they're very peaceful, mild people, very community-based. And then you've got this ogre-looking dude, and his name is Ogre, and he is one of the Mihos, and the Mihos are attacking the Rogers, and the Rogers are like, well, we're not warriors, we don't fight. So they brought someone from our world to do it for them, and accidentally it ended up being her. So, she was not supposed to do this. She gets these powers, and that's new to the story as well. Like, they were, not expecting that. But you can see, because of the social media status, she's got her cell phone, and this is essentially an Instagram post. So
Right on.
that was really cool. And Steph Wilson did that one. So, but anyway, what can I tell you? What would you like to know?
No, that's so far you're doing great, because that's helping us understand why we should care about it. But you know what I mean, as far as you're not spoiling the story, but you're giving us just enough to be interested, which is right where we wanted it to be. You've got some guest artists on covers too.
Yeah.
Who all do you have running as guest artists?
So I just showed you Steph Wilson. This is Mike DeBalfo. And if you see, this says, School of Hard Knockers. And it's actually from a movie that our Firebitch character, her name's Chastity Chase, that she did. So this is the cover of that movie from the character. So you can kind of tell how we're telling the story with our covers. She did this dirty adult movie. Here she is on Instagram. So if you just look at the covers, you'll actually see the whole story. Here she is taking a shower. David Harrigan, this is really cool. So he did like a naughty nice, and here she is in her costume. You can see she's got her cell phone there, and she's got little flames, super cute. And here is our battle damage. And if you notice in her phone, it's broken. So I love that he did that. Like, Harrigan is just fantastic. And I also have Mike DiCarlo, which I don't know what happened to that book, but it is it's an homage cover to the John Wayne movie McClintock. Do you know which one that is? He's got Maureen O'Hara over his knee and he's spanking her, and I thought that would be really fun for Firebitch. So Firebitch is being spanked by the bad guy. So and then Antonio D, actually Anthony Delaney, he did an homage cover for me. So you know how he is with the covers that are the rock and roll covers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually have his last one. I love his rock and roll homage covers. So I got him to do one of Firebitch, but in the Pat Benatar Get Nervous album.
Can you show that one again? Because I had it on speaker view and John popped on.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is his.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't have my mock-up of his on me, but it is on the Kickstarter and on my sites and everything. And I love what he did. He put her in a straitjacket and recreated the album cover. So this book has a lot of 80s music references. We also gave out a playlist. So she gets this little handmaiden kind of person who is kind of her little helper. And I can kind of show you that. And because she doesn't know their language, she doesn't care. So she calls her Taco. So this is that page. You can see her little servant girl.
Is that Taco like putting on the Ritz?
So no, she just feeds her and takes care of her. Like, it's her job to like watch over this girl. And she kind of has that Bumblebee thing going on where she learned our language through music. So she has a lot of 80s movies and music references. So, that's a lot of fun. But this cover is really neat. I wanted to show this to you because it's really super cool. So You can see right here, it's censored in there. You see the flames.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I like
that's
that.
old school cool is what that is. That's like 90s all over it, man. That's awesome. That's exactly what that whenever the first time I saw that, I'm like, that acetate cover like that. That's a great touch. That's a great touch.
Yeah, we've been wanting to do something like that for a while, and we had to try to figure out how to do it. Where we're going to make her costume closed and then open, how much ink would be on it. So we decided to go with the fire, and I think it's just so much fun to have that and have, and so I just hope that people love this as much as we do, because it's just hilarious, and I just love that. We have that, and I haven't seen it in any books recently.
I can't tell. Probably the last time I saw an acetate cover like that was maybe the Alex Ross Marvels.
Actually,
acetate.
Actually, John, let me just cut you off. They just did. DC just did acetates.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, like Cheetah, and like I got the Cheetah book, and that was beautiful. But I mean, not to take anything away from it, I love the acetate covers. They're awesome. Now, you pulled off, it said censored, right? And then you opened it up and it said censored again. Is it censored and then uncensored? And it's
yes. So
okay.
You have to remember, this is a see-through cover here.
Yes.
So the censor is here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we've got the censor here.
We've got to kind of keep it censored. We're on Facebook Live here and going to YouTube. Last thing we need for any of this is to get jacked on either one of those platforms. That would not be cool. So anyway, that is awesome. I appreciate you showing off all of these covers too, because that's
well, we're doing holofoil. You saw the first one I showed you, the bitchin'. These two are holofoil.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
And they're only available in holofoil. And then I've got, the standard cosplay cover. We've got our main cover, which I don't have on me, that is an homage to the Exo Manowar number 0.
So all of our Valiant fans out there should be trying to pick that up, because look, I firmly believe that anybody who's doing Kickstarters with comic books these days, if you're not at least doing 1 or 2 homage covers, you're kind of missing the boat on it, because people love homage covers. There's just something about the nostalgia of that homage cover that people can't get enough of, and I'm one of them. So I ain't gonna lie about that. Now you've got different tiers already, and you actually have, like, you've got some of the stretch goals already met as well, don't you?
Oh yeah. We've got some mini collector's cards, which I thought I had. Yeah. So we've got these collector's cards, game cards, like here is, and Danielle Gransall did some of these. That's Danielle as well. We've got cosplay cards that are going to be included in holofoil. This one's Mark May. This one is Alfred Trujillo and I. So
okay, yeah, Mark May, I see him on Facebook. I know he's done cards. That's pretty sweet.
Well, no, he did a piece for us, and we made it a card.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, he did that, and we have the temporary tattoo was the first thing that we met. So everyone's going to get the temporary tattoo. If you notice the tattoo that she has on her shoulder. That's probably the best one. You can see the tattoo she has there on her shoulder. Everyone is going to get one of those temporary tattoos. We also have the phone grips, which I can't show you because it's on my phone, but it's a pop socket with the fire guy, this little guy here that we got in the corner. He's our little mascot. So everyone's going to get a temporary tattoo of him, and a sticker and a phone grip. We also are super close to an enamel pin. We've got Bookmarks Patches. It's shaped like a fire, but it has this art inside of it. You know, it has like her face and whatnot, and the shape of the patch is a fire. If you remember, I did patches for my calendar campaign.
Mm-hmm. So
I did the
anybody
Power Girl
who,
patches. What?
I was gonna say anybody who missed out on those patches that wants a patch for their vest. There you go.
Hit me up. Like I said, and then we've got the patches, we've got stickers, we just dropped a Valentine's Day card, so it'll be a folded, card with a new piece on it. So we've got mini prints, just tons of Kickstarter stretch goals already met, and more to come. We're really close to the next one, which I don't remember what the next one is.
I don't know. The pop socket is pretty cool though. That's a nice stretch goal. I mean, those are actually pretty expensive. I don't have a pop socket on my phone because I'm too cheap to go and buy one. So
I'm actually a sucker for enamel pins. Like, that's no lie. You ask around, I love my enamel pins to put on my lapel or whatever. If I'm going out, I like to show off my nerdiness, even whenever I have to wear a jacket and tie. So
well,
good job.
We've got a really cute enamel pin coming up at 25,000. We're currently at 21 and change, like 21.8 something. So at 25, you get the enamel pin. We also have lanyards coming up, badges coming up, and a Spider-Man 300 swipe coming up at 30,000 that is an expansion goal. So that'll be something that you can add on or purchase as well.
that's pretty cool. And for anybody that's watching this, does Cara Nicole not look like she should be Tomb Raider right now at this moment? You look like Laura Croft with that tank top. And every time that I look at you on the screen, I'm like, Laura Croft. So, I mean, maybe that's another potential,
I did that
character
already.
that you could play.
Yes,
I did that already.
Okay. I'm sorry. So who was the illustrator? And then you said that you did some coloring in this book. Did you color the interiors and covers?
The covers. So I did the Alfred Trujillo's doing the interiors, and I colored the DeBalfo piece, and I colored the DeCarlo piece. Both Mike's pieces I colored, and I also am doing all the interior colors, and Alfred did the line work for the rest of our drawn covers.
Can you show the cover I know you have the DeBalfo one. Can you show that one that you colored?
Yeah.
All right.
That one's great. That one's a lot of fun. So it has been censored.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that great? And this also, this is a black and white as well, so you can color it yourself or get a colorist, and it's printed on Bristol. And it's so funny, I remember someone under one of the posts for this says, I don't like green apples.
Okay.
You can't please everybody all the time, no matter how hard you try.
Right? So you can see. And a lot of people want to know about the School of Hard Knockers. So I wanted like a school theme for the outfit and whatnot. And I do have some cosplay pieces, some cosplay pics actually of that. This is available in some of the tier levels and stuff. So there's that. And that was kind of what we did. Like I said, she had done an adult movie. The character had done an adult movie. And that's why you've got like all the film and the lollipop and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this one's available. You can also get, like I said, black and white Bristol, so that you can have a colorist color it. So
did you go to school for coloring, or is this something that you just kind of like inherited and learned how to do?
Yeah, I just kind of inherited it and learned how to do. It's colorists are not cheap. So
I know.
They're terribly underappreciated as well.
They are. They're very underappreciated, but they are not cheap. And so
I will, and I think I might have said this at one point whenever we were talking about you coloring before, and I think this is actually like your fourth time being on with us. The more I think about it, because I had a piece done and inked, and it was wonderful, but I sent it to somebody else to be colored, and that commission went from being like a 6 or a 7 to like an 11 on a scale of 10 because the colorist just knocked it completely out of the park. So yeah, that's completely underappreciated. I'm not going to go the Mallrats way of talking bad about people who ink stuff or color stuff. That's not what we're doing.
You know what? One thing. So I did a Kickstarter too. So there was a lot of time that you have to put into it. Like people don't even realize, right? And you're coloring it. Like so I lettered mine. And you know, it took time to do that. And then I had to like clean up everything because I wanted it to be perfect. So like it's just so people know, like how many hours did you have to put in, like just to color it and everything?
Oh, I'm still coloring it. It's a process. So Alfred will draw the pages and then they'll go to the flatter. So we send it out to be flatted, which is the color separation, which is the majority of the colors that I currently have in the book. And then, and then I color it. I do have some other projects as well. So, when you're on a deadline and, you gotta juggle it. But I mean, I'm coloring like 10 hours a day right now.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, people don't understand how much work you have to put into it, and then when it's your baby, like I when I was doing mine, I mean, I had 28 pages, and I spent probably 4 hours every single day going through every single page, making sure that everything was crisp and perfect. And I'm not even coloring it, so I can't even imagine like. You must be just losing your mind. There's been a few points that I said to myself, like, was this even a good idea?
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have Alfred because I can clean up any line art issues he might not have seen, and he can go over and we kind of go back and forth and edit each other.
So how do people find your Kickstarter? Like, I know, like, I'm familiar with Kickstarter. So you can go onto the Kickstarter website, and there's a little search glass. You can click on that and then type Firebitch, and yours will pop up.
I'll tell you real quick, the other way they can do it is if they're watching this on Facebook Live in our Facebook group, actually drop
or
the
YouTube
link, or YouTube, either or. You'll be able to find the link to the Kickstarter there as well. So we want to make sure and do right by you and make sure that we get that information out there. But yeah, we've already shared the link and stuff like that. But there again, it's already a very successful Kickstarter, that's saying something. We've got how many days left on it too?
26, 25.
So
yeah, I think you were at like probably 26 or 25. That's pretty. It's nice when you hit that goal and not. Well, now is the stretch where it's like, please, other people jump on, please.
Yeah.
Please. So hopefully this helps a little bit, and some people that are watching this decide to jump on. Cara's a really cool guest. I mean, we've talked. I don't think she's been on 4 times. I only remember twice, but she's a pleasure to talk to every single time and support her, give her help. I mean, and all the artists that she's working with. I mean, she's actually given other people opportunities. Like I see Mark May on Facebook, and it's a name that I recognize, right? I mean, so you're giving other people opportunities to get their art out there and everything, and it's just a wonderful thing. I mean, I appreciate it. Sorry, I just rambled there for a second. John, you got to save me here, man.
I got to save you now. It's okay, man. It's okay, dude. Don't relax, man. We're good. We're good. So anyway, Yeah, no, we appreciate Cara being on with us, and definitely will continue to talk about the Kickstarter. I do want to shift gears, if you guys don't mind, just real quick, okay? Because there's one thing that I think, I mean, we're talking to AZ Power Girl here, okay? So if there's going to be somebody that we're going to want to talk to DC news about, I think we kind of got to do it with Cara. So earlier in the week, the rumor surfaced again that DC wants to age out Clark Kent as Superman and age out Bruce Wayne as Batman. So, and this is brought to us by our friends at Bleeding Cool. I originally was reported back in October of last year, but as these rumors keep resurfacing, you know, sometimes those rumors grow legs. Cara, what do you think about them thinking about getting rid of Bruce and Clark?
You know, I think that they're trying to out with the old, in with the new, and it doesn't work that way, I don't think. And I think that they are missing the opportunity to have some real fun with these characters. Could you imagine Batman old? Like, imagine Alfred's death. And then, you know, Bruce Wayne's going to have to find someone to replace him. But, you know, you got all their secrets. And now he's getting older and older. You know, he could be like 80 and completely ripped and strong and maybe like senile. Could you imagine like Batman losing his mind, where he's out there trying to fight crime and be Batman, but he forgot his pants, or he pooped himself in public, or, you know, he starts beating up someone for jaywalking? Like, he could become a real menace.
Oh yeah, 100%. I actually like all of those ideas, honestly. This is what my opinion is on aging out any of them, and part of it is to capitalize and bring in newer readers, people who are younger. Jonathan Kent is supposed to replace Superman, which is his son, and then I forgot the
Robin?
Damian
Wayne?
It's not going to be Damian. It's going to be Lucius Fox's son, and I cannot remember
the Signal?
Yes, the Signal is supposed to be the one that replaces Bruce. My whole thinking on it is if you age them out, make it an Elseworld. Just go ahead and make it an Elseworld tale.
Yeah.
I love Elseworld and What If books. I've been saying it for the entire time we've had a podcast and years before that. I love those stories because they don't count in continuity. Sometimes they're still freaking awesome stories. And you get the best of both worlds. Like you say, you can have them old and just completely off their rockers and not really criminals, but being nuisances worse than super villains.
That sounds like the Tick. Are we talking about the Tick?
I would love that. And I mean, come on, man. The Terror was awesome. You got to admit, Jackie Earle Haley was like spot on as the Terror in the Tick series. So you know me, man. I'm going to bring everything back to either the Tick or Darth Jar Jar.
Well,
I'm a really simple guy, Todd.
Do you? I mean, you know, with the whole aging the characters. First of all, DC tried to have like Sideways, Silencer, Damage, and they all failed. They're not going. I mean, the characters that are existing right now have gone through they've survived the gauntlet, right? So, like, I love the idea of having like Bruce Wayne in the bat wheelchair, cruising around trying to save people, right? But I mean, I think he's actually he's survived so long because people like the character. And then the other thing is, I mean, this generation, do you want this generation writing the newest characters? I don't know. This generation's a little bit crazy. I'm sorry, but I know Firebitch is a millennial as well, and from what you're telling us, she's a little bit crazy as well. So, like,
Firebitch kind of lines out with what would happen if our superheroes had started to age out. This would be, say you've got Wonder Woman and Supergirl, and they're older now, and that's trippy. You're just like zooming around there. They're getting older, and people stop respecting them as much. They stop wearing the sexy outfits in favor of something that's going to support that giant rack that they've been hauling around for 30 years. So, they go out, they're starting to get wrinkles, they're starting to age, and society stops treating them like they are gold and starts treating them like, oh, well, yeah, you saved me, but you lost my purse. You know what I mean? So they're, for the women to age and go through those issues that happen with aging. You're not getting attention anymore because you're not cute. We want the new, young, hip, cute, sexy superhero, right? So yeah. I think it's a really, great opportunity to show, like, how would they be different? Kind of like how Damian, he could have just been a regurgitation of Bruce, but no, he had his own thoughts and his own mind being younger and in a different generation. And I think that we miss out on a lot of older generation opportunities because we are terrified of aging. We're terrified of women aging, especially, and we don't want to accept that transition into the future. If you notice, we're having a lot more shows and movies and all of that are showing these things. The Expendables was fantastic. The newest Rambo and Rocky movies, and that Netflix show Frankie and Grace with Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, they're in their 80s. And who doesn't love Betty White? So a lot of these senior citizens, they are having the opportunity to tell their story. I would love to see these superheroes age in that way. I want to see Nightwing struggle between maybe having a family, thinking this is my last chance. Do I stop being a hero and do I settle down and have a family because I'm not going to, and then having Bruce be older and stronger and smarter and slicker, but kind of starting to lose it.
Yeah. Some of those stories, though, that have done stuff like that, I always think back to Kingdom Come. That's one of my favorite. And again, it's an Elseworld, so it doesn't kind of count, but they're trying to pull in the multiverse and whatever. But it's an older Superman. It is who retired. It is a Bruce Wayne who's in an exoskeleton from just beating the crap out of his body, and he's not, Bruce Wayne's not exactly on the good guy side through the entire thing. He's in that like really dark gray area where you're not sure he's gonna pull through for the good guys or not. There's a lot of those stories that are classic that way. I hope that they do it well, and the proof will be in the pudding whenever they actually do write it. But there's a lot of room for error. There's a lot of room for error when they do stuff like this. If they don't do it right, you end up with something like another one where they aged somebody up was Spider-Man Reign. And that was done really ham-fistedly and is kind of, for Spider-Man fans like myself, it's kind of regarded as one of the worst stories that they did with Spider-Man. They aged him up. They killed off Mary Jane. She actually died from a rare form of cancer that was given to her by Peter Parker through marital relations. It's like it was really ham-fisted. It was very blunt, and there was no nuance to it. And I think if you do some of that stuff, I think it could go really well. But a lot of times they don't ask us. They just kind of throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. At least
Well,
that's
but
my feelings.
by making it an Elseworld, or a what if, depending on, your universe, I love that because it doesn't matter. You can keep it if you want, as long as you want, but it doesn't have to stay. And at the end of the day, people want Batman, they want Superman, they want the Joker, they want the Riddler, they want the classic characters. They don't want Batman version 3. If that Batman version 3 becomes his own character and creates his own identity like Nightwing did, then hell yeah, we want that. But you always want your staple of characters. They're never going to say, hey, we're going to open up the patent and everyone can write Batman and Superman and Justice League stories. They're never going to do that. So they will have to keep using them in order to maintain that patent and maintain that, yes, I own it. Yes, it's mine.
I think like it would be interesting, like, cause with like Superboy, for instance, you would like to see Superboy grow up and become Superman, and Clark Kent actually retire and then maybe give him advice. I mean, there's positives and negatives, of course, to this. I'm a Hulk fan, and they killed off Bruce Banner, and then instead of like, I don't think they really understood what Hulk fans actually liked about the Hulk, so they brought back the totally awesome Hulk, and he was kind of a douche, and the whole thing about the Hulk is the kind of the unpredictability, and then kind of the Bruce Banner and Hulk kind of having, differences of opinions, and that didn't exist in that series, and so they had to bring back Bruce Banner to save the Hulk, So I mean, I think there's those risks in doing this type of stuff.
And actually, Todd, you almost read my mind on this, because my next question for both of you guys, let's say they go down this road. We all know they'll bring it back to continuity where young Batman, young Bruce and young Clark, they'll bring them back. It's no question. How long do you think they'll sustain something like that? I would give them 6 months to a year, because I really think that in that you get much more over 6 months, and you'll start to hear, again, my opinion is you'll start to hear complaints from fans. You know what I mean? Do you guys see it going any longer than that, or shorter than that even?
No, I think it's going to go the way of the New 52, and it's sad. They need to really start just writing good storylines, dig deeper. People do want more than the fighting. They want the emotional struggle. And, Todd, you talked about the Hulk, and that's very true. Comic book fans want more than just flashy fight scenes and boobs. We want a strong storyline. We want to connect with these characters. We want to know that they, in a way, represent us.
That's interesting that you said that. I mean, because like, I'm a Star Wars fan, and I think that Rey was kind of a Mary Sue a little bit, and I would have loved to see her just struggle a little bit. It would have made the series so much better. I would, and I love Daisy Ridley. I mean, I think she did a phenomenal job with what she had to work with. But I agree when you said like even aging out the female characters, because females aging out, usually they probably struggle more than the males, right? Until the males hit like, I don't know, males die earlier than females, right? So the males will suffer around 70 when they're dying out. But I thought it was really interesting when you brought up the female characters just aging out. But also, I mean, some of the female characters could actually pass on their knowledge to another female character, and that would be pretty interesting. Kind of like Batman passes on his knowledge to Robin or the Signal,
And actually,
you could go so deep with that. Women, a lot of times, are not very nice to each other. And women can be very, very backbiting, especially when they're jealous. So maybe you've got, Wonder Woman training her new protege, and her new protege starts boning Wonder Woman's man, because that's what happens. That's what women that are older worry about. That's what they freak out about. Is my husband going to leave me for a 20-year-old? Am I good looking enough anymore? Do I have, am I desirable?
And those are things that let's be honest, Todd and I both, I know for sure, we're in that same age range. Every morning we're doing the gun show in the mirror, regardless of how out of shape or weakling we are. We just are impervious to that. We don't really think about it. But that's a dynamic. And I go back to Kingdom Come. They actually didn't age up Wonder Woman very much at all, if any, because they played the goddess role for her, and that she just still was not going to age up. So I think that would actually be a pretty brave thing for them to do, to age out Wonder Woman and Power Girl, or age up Supergirl. Some of those things that could be interesting reading for a whole different reason than it would be for Bruce and for Clark. So, and see,
but
that's
Bruce
another.
and Clark, I mean, that could be great. Could you see him like trying to learn the new technology? He's in his 80s and he always keeps up. When does he stop keeping up? When do things start getting hard and him not understanding? Like, I want to see him and Damien sitting down doing Common Core new math, and having Bruce get pissed because he doesn't know what's going on.
That would be awesome. That would be so amazing, where Bruce is like, no, this is not math. That's a wrong answer, Damien. We want the right answer. That would be pretty spectacular. Either that, or getting confused by crossword puzzles and thinking that the Riddler is behind it, and going and assaulting somebody at the Daily Planet in Metropolis because of it, or something. It could be. There's so many creative things, but that's the other thing I worry about, that they would take that storyline way too seriously, and that they will play it up so seriously that there's no levity to it whatsoever.
No, I agree. It just sucks. There's so many things they could do. I mean, if you think about it, everything now with your cell phone and all that, it tells everyone where you are. And guys like Batman and Superman, what does Superman do with his cell phone? Now everyone's going to know where it is. Everyone's going to know what's going on because it's following Clark Kent, and now suddenly he's in the air, and now suddenly he's in another country. Like, you're going to start figuring it out. And the younger superheroes relying on this technology, they are going to have the ability to be essentially monitored and hacked at all times. So now you've got the older superheroes that have the ability to be like, hey, we're going to go analog. We're going to show you how to do this without being tracked. Why have they not really discussed the fact that our technology is all tracking tech, and they're going to know exactly who you are and where you are?
I wonder if they're not doing that a little, and I have to admit, I'm not reading the Superman storyline currently, but I do know that it was a big deal that Clark Kent finally revealed himself as Superman to the world. Now, again, they will eventually undo that. That's one of those. They've done it with Spider-Man. They've done it with Tony Stark. Now, some of them it sticks with. The old school, it'll go back to status quo before we know it. I think there will be some kind of mind-melting event in 6 months, and it'll go back. So
I think there's a bit of a lack of creativity in this time period, right? Like, they just created the Watchmen, right? And John and I talked about the Watchmen, and we had differing opinions. Like, I enjoyed the series, but I don't think it was true to Alan Moore's vision, right? So, like, you could make this show. They could have made that show. They didn't have to call it The Watchmen. They could have called it anything else, and it would have been new and original. But they stole the name The Watchmen and slapped it on because they think that this is what we want to see. Like, I mean, that's why I have mad respect for you with Firebitch. I mean, because you're not like stealing something else. You're creating something new. And if it's successful, I mean, and so far it has been successful. I mean, you can keep carrying it on and carrying it on. Do you see Firebitch? Well, first of all, I don't think we talked about like how many issues of Firebitch you think that are going to happen. Do you think it's going to be an ongoing series? And then with the whole DC thing that we just talked about, are you going to age Firebitch, or is she going to be young until, we all pass away? Because you look younger than us, but
well, we have scripts for the first story arc, and we have outlines for the next 4 story arcs. So she does have a nemesis. She does have some of that will be coming around as well. I haven't really decided. I mean, I hadn't thought about aging her, but she does deal with the emotional struggles of a modern millennial woman. She does deal with the emotional side of that. She deals with social media bullying and some of those kinds of things, but it's not preachy, just so you know. It's really not preachy. She's developing her powers. She's learning about them. There's no one to teach her. There's nothing that she's here in this situation, and she either needs to step up or step out. We don't know what step out means. So, you either do or die, and that's kind of where she is. It's an emotional struggle, and she does deal with that. I don't know if we're going to deal with aging. I mean, she's still pretty young. We're still new in the game. If you want to see Firebitch keep going, it's got to make the Kickstarters. People don't understand how expensive and time consuming it is to make these books. So, getting them into stores is very, very hard. If you're not with Diamond, then the stores don't know you exist. If you are with Diamond, you better have enough money to make sure you have an ad that's big enough or noticeable enough for stores to take your book. So I would love for her to keep going. There's so many places that we want to take her.
Right. And anymore, really, let's be honest, to get any kind of reader buzz or speculation buzz, you have to get noticed by somebody like CBSI or Key Collector app or something like that too. Those are places that help out, and they do have a couple of Kickstarters that end up showing up on lists from time to time. It all really depends on, like you say, kind of the amount of time you're putting into it, the machine you have behind it. Let's be real here. DC and Marvel and Image, they've got all the funds they need to continue doing this ad nauseum. They're in no trouble at all. But like you say, you got to get behind Kickstarters so that creator-owned properties and real originality actually has a chance to flourish.
Yeah. Well, and read the books. That's a huge, huge thing. Read these stories. Don't rely on someone else. Don't rely on the biggest companies out there to give you your opinion.
Yeah,
learn for yourself. There's amazing stories out there.
I mean, if anybody's watching this on Facebook, one of the things that really, like, that you said, it's not preachy, and that's kind of cool. I mean, because a lot of things are really preachy, right? They have agendas, and I don't see you as being preachy. You're actually, I see you as tough. Like, I wouldn't want to mess with you, and so like that I'm gonna go check out the Firebitch Kickstarter after this, based off of that. I mean, because and the fact that it sounds like she's going to deal with some adversity, that she isn't perfect, and I like that. I hate when they make characters just perfect, because it's not real. You don't get to enjoy their development. So yeah, I'm checking it out as soon as this is over. I'm going to support you.
You're right. You don't like, nobody likes the Mary Sue where everything's perfect, everything falls in their lap. Because there is nothing relatable about that. I don't know anybody who hasn't had to work, scratch, claw for everything that they've got. Honestly, they have to. A YouTuber that's out there that does a lot of news basically says, I'm running till my feet bleed. I gotta keep hustling. Gotta go until I literally cannot go anymore because I don't know when that day is going to come. But yeah, I mean, that I like the self-sufficiency aspect of the character as well, because we all have to be a little self-sufficient in this world too, and it's okay to be self-sufficient and still have in mind the greater good of a civilization like that kind of thing. You want to do that. Bear with me for just a second here.
Well, also, I mean, one of the things about the Kickstarter is you, like, we don't know anything about your story. So your personality and the person that you are is selling the story. And like after this conversation, I'm seriously, like, I can't show my phone because my background is here, but I'm looking at Kickstarter. I'm like, I'm gonna back this because, I mean, you talking to you actually sold me on this, and I appreciate that.
I thought you just needed a pop socket.
Well, yeah, I do need a pop socket as well. But I want the pop socket with your face on it. Can I get that?
He's angling for a freebie.
It's the little fire guy.
I know. I'm just
he's angling for a freebie.
No. Seriously,
no,
I'm gonna check it out because Cara's cool, and I'm glad that she joins us on these kicks. I feel lucky that we get that Cara actually wants to come on with us.
I love doing this. You got me right before I'm going to the gym, so.
I'm going to the gym too.
Yep. Well, I think we've talked this pretty much to death.
Right on.
Okay, so we'll wrap this up, and let me start. We're friends with Antonio D, and Antonio D does the book The Changeling. Antonio is going through some struggles. We love the guy. He's a great guy. He's done work for Cara. I know Cara's friends with Antonio D. There's some auctions going on. There's some things going on to help Antonio D with what he's going through. If you make it to this point in the video, please just check out Antonio D and give him your support, your love. He needs that right now. And Antonio, if you manage to see this, man, we love you and we wish the best for you. And stay strong, and we want more Changeling, and we want you healthy and safe. God bless you. I'll pass this on to you, John. And
man, I don't know how to follow that, to be honest with you, Todd. That's everything you said is exactly right. I count Antonio as a friend. We don't talk or converse that much. He has worked with us before as far as the Collector's Corner, putting out Steam Age Wasteland. He's been around us for years now, and while not having met him in real life, you guys know as well as I do, there still gets to be that bond and that kindred spirit feeling whenever you're around somebody that way, and seeing him post art, seeing him, reply to other people's messages, and continuously being positive. That, I mean, we sending, whether you pray or send positive thoughts or whatever it is you do, that is a good idea for you. Good job, Todd, with the technical save there, man. That's awesome. So real quick, on a lighter note, and Cara, this way you can go either way. I'm repping my Chiefs tonight, and so I'm going to give a quick score prediction, and golly, I hope I'm right, man. I think the Chiefs are going to beat the Tennessee Titans 37-21. That is my score prediction for this week. The 49ers and Green Bay, I could care less about. I no preference whatsoever. I just need my Chiefs to finally make it to a Super Bowl within my lifetime. That would be nice. That would be nice. So, Cara, close us up here.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Check out the Changeling from Anthony Delaney, Antonio D, and check out Firebitch by me and Albert Trujillo. Thank you all for joining us, and tune in next time.
Be good or be good at it, guys.